What's your name?
Oh, man, my name's... I go by Smooth. I was about to tell you the government, but they're not ready for that yet.
Okay.
So.
Hi, hello. What's up? My name is Jaya the Jem, and I am here with one of my favorite artists. Cool, really cool, and really cool. His name is the Smooth Cat.
Hey. What's up, y'all?
All right. I think the first time I met you, or when I first met you, you were doing like a performance at Mid-City Ballroom.
Really? What'd you think about the show?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was really chill. I think the crowd was very mixed because it was like a Halloween theme. So they had like different artists up there, but it was still a cool show.
It was good.
I think that was my first time seeing you perform as well. And like when I met you, I think you thought I was a singer. So I started like singing the alphabets very like, do you remember that?
I do
and I was
remember
like,
that.
A, B, C.
I'm gonna come all the way clean. I was very confused.
I'm not gonna lie, like after that I was hoping you would like maybe like put me on stage and so I could sing. I mean, and hopefully we can do that in the future. Like I would love to sing some background vocals.
I know what we definitely can do, and we already talked about it. You know how I was kind of talking about kind of expanding like the live set and things like that. So like some choreographed dance would be really sick.
That'd be nice.
That'd be really sick.
Okay, noted. Writing that down.
Yeah, no, that'd be really sick.
I think we talked about you playing football when you were younger, but did you ever play basketball?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually like primarily played basketball. I would literally be that kid with a basketball everywhere. And then I ended up trying out for my team at, what school was that? Was it Rupel? Yeah, LW Rupel. And I don't think we won a game, but that shit was cool though.
You mentioned it in your songs. And you talk about like not wanting to play no more because you hate being told to do.
Yeah.
And, okay, so tell me about that.
What really happened was that my friend Alvin, shout out Alvin. I don't know where that man at right now. Like I don't think he's in Louisiana.
Where are you?
He pulled up with a skateboard one day because we used to ball, and like I said, like I used to find challenges. Like people just knew me as the kid who's always like playing basketball. But anyway, we would play basketball or whatever, and then he would always be skateboarding. And him and this other guy I met later on, LJ, they both just were around me at some point and they had a skateboard. So I'm like, well, I want to learn how to skate. At that time, it kind of substituted the basketball for me for a second because it's like an active thing, Yeah. So whenever I got to the point where I wanted to get a skateboard and just learn how to skate, that's all that I did. And I was just like kind of obsessed with it, Because I took skating like really seriously, like as serious as you could. Like when I was 14, I probably wanted to be pro, like,
Okay.
And excuse me.
Good, I just burped too.
Yo, there it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Y'all hear that? Sound good? I think what really got me with it was that it wasn't easy.
Okay.
Like it was very hard to do, and I got to see Alvin do these tricks, and I'm like, bro, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
And like starting out, like it probably took me a year to learn how to ollie, like to just jump.
Yeah.
I still skate.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a part of me, and it honestly like goes hand in hand with the music because I may not be making music if I didn't skate.
Yeah.
Because I was exposed to all these new people. Around that time, 14, 15, I first got to like go explore.
Yeah.
Like I would take my board, go skate all around Algiers. Like by myself or with my friends with no like parents or anything.
Yeah.
So it was like really like skating connected me to music. It was my first like exploration. It's just really a big part of me because it literally is who I am. Like I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't skating.
You did go to a lot of community through skateboard. So when did you know rap was your thing? And I know it happened for you young because when I was on your Facebook, it was actually pretty early, but like when did you know? Oh, okay, like
that's interesting. I'm still like curious what you saw on my Facebook because like it could be anything. But well, it's like different stages to this, right?
Yeah.
So the guy you saw earlier, Julian, who you met before,
he was on a really old track of yours. I was like, damn.
The first one.
Yes.
We made our first song together. Wow. But anyway, kind of how that happened. Like I think in 6th or 7th grade is whenever I don't know if y'all had like a similar like experience, but kind of as you're growing up, like you hear music, but you don't hear it.
Okay, yes.
Like, you know,
yes.
At some point you decide, okay, like this is what I like. Like you're not just listening to whatever your mom and dad is putting on. And like the first person for that was Lil Wayne for me.
Oh, nice.
So I was listening to like the Drought 3, all that shit, like, you know, and just like, damn, like this is the best rapper alive. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, like just being inspired by that, it made me want to start writing. So in like 7th grade or so, it might have been 6th grade, 6th or 7th grade, I wrote my first rap, and this guy in my class named Clyde, shout out Clyde Thomas. He used to rap. I don't know if he probably wasn't taking it seriously at all, but I just remember him being in class like rapping, and I'm like, I'm gonna show him my rap. Like I'm gonna see if he like fucks with my rap. So I showed him my first rap, and he was like, oh, like that's pretty cool, bro. Like that's cool, it's cool. And that's all I needed. It probably wasn't dope. It was probably whatever.
No, it's probably pretty good.
I mean, I don't think it was. I remember some of the raps, and it was just like, oh yeah, I got that gun, like, I got these bitches at my crib.
Oh my God.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm like 12, like,
yeah.
you know, whatever age I was in 8th grade. But, you know, the raps were like fictional.
Yeah.
And I think it was really like, I had no purpose or no direction.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just knew like, oh, I'm a rap, like, I know I gotta say some hard shit. So, alright, here we go. Mac 11, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? No, for real. So no, like that's why I know that shit was trash.
No, okay.
You know, it had no meaning. You know,
There's levels to that though, because you know, there's a lot of music, there's a lot of art out there, a lot of creation that's consumed despite it having no intention. And I think it just resonates with other people that move in this life with no intention. And so it's okay.
That's a great point. That's real.
So I mean, it probably still sounded good, and I'm pretty sure like because you can see your growth in your music. Like I'm pretty sure he knew whatever he heard or read.
Right.
Like you're just starting. No, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? That's
a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't record my first rap until I think 2014 with Julian, or 2013. And it was that song 32 that we have like up on SoundCloud. Okay. And man, like I tell you, we wrote that song, exported it, got it mastered. I'm like, bro, we about to blow up. Like this, that gas. Yeah. Like, you know, and it was like, I still think it was a good song, but it just didn't happen that way. Like here we are like 8 years later, and like I'm still grinding, you know, and that's what it is. Like that's the reality. Imagine if like I put out that first song, I've never done a show, and we blow up. Like now we got to go play in New York.
And I've seen that happen to an artist. Like it's that can set you back. Skipping steps can set you back because you're skipping steps. So now you have to go back and relearn everything that you didn't know, and it can set you back for real.
Right, exactly. So needless to say, like I'm happy how it's happened. Like I've done probably 200 shows. Like no exaggeration.
Yeah.
But
no,
like
I've seen you be on the move for real.
For real. And I just kind of started taking it seriously. I think in 2014, whenever I was like taking the jump, like okay, like let me go do my first performance, cause like I've always been someone who's really introverted and like, you know, I've always been that guy to where like okay, like all my friends are people that came to me. You know, like people would always come to me because I wasn't very like outward. Yeah. You know, I was always to myself. And I still kind of am, but really music has brought me out of that. Whenever I decided to take that jump at LSU, because I was going to LSU, they had this, I forgot what the event was called, but it was in like their agriculture like center. Okay. They have like a barnyard over there. Okay. And it was in the barnyard. And I opened for Marcel P. Black. Shout out Marcel. That was my first show.
Nice. And when was this? What year?
2014, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. At that point, I had been terrified of like the idea of being in front of people and performing. But it's like I knew I wanted to rap, so I just knew that was something I had to do. Okay. So I just went to the tryouts. I passed to the next section, so I'm like, all right, cool. And when it got down to the moment, I'm like, well, you know, it's like 40 people in here. Like, I'm not about to go up there and tank. Like, you know, I better do this shit. Right. So I kind of just did it, and like I never looked back since then. Yeah. Like, you know, and honestly, looking back and just looking around me, I'm seeing how like important that moment was. Yes. Because the hardest thing it seems for a lot of people is just starting.
Yes.
And I think that's what it is, People are afraid.
But that's like a real thing. I think there's an illusion of like, you can't do until you get rid of that fear, when the reality is that fear is going to be there. You have to do anyways.
Right.
You have to do it anyways.
Agreed.
So kudos to you for doing that, because I know it wasn't easy, but here you are.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when did you start getting into instrumental music a lot more, like, I guess, like band sounds? Because I remember hearing about it, or hear you talk about like learning instruments during COVID, but did you ever get into instruments before, I guess, 2019? Or
I'm happy you asked that, because you're about to be joked.
Okay.
So what got me into instruments was Guitar Hero 3.
Okay. I was going to say a girl, like you're trying to impress somebody.
Oh, no. I was trying to impress myself.
Okay.
I think.
That's real.
I just got that game, and I'm like, yo, like, fucking tap into that shit. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna get a guitar. So like that next Christmas, I was like, yo, can I get a guitar?
Yeah.
And like my peeps came through.
Nice.
So I started by like learning like songs that I knew from either Guitar Hero or just in general. I had a breakthrough at some point. Like I think I smoked, and I was like at my parents' house alone.
Okay.
At this point, all I did was like look up guitar tabs of songs that already existed. And I would just practice them and be like, okay, like, all right, that's the melody, whatever.
Cool.
But one time, I remember I smoked, I started playing, and I was like, wait, I can play anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So then I started just experimenting with sound, and like, it was more than just playing guitar. It's like, oh, I can, like, the possibilities are endless. How the band came into it, I had been in LSU at this point, maybe like, well, I don't know how long I had been at LSU, but since that first show, I had maybe done 30, 40 shows at that point. And I had this show at with KLSU. It was a college radio day. So then I met this guy, Stevie. Excuse me, I got like gas today. Y'all can keep that in. But anyway. So I met Stevie that way because his band also played. And then I met Paige, who is the synth player / the bassist for the band currently. Stevie doesn't play with us anymore. He plays with Loudness War. Okay. Because they're sick. Like he's just like playing with them right now. I met Paige randomly at this party. Like we were just smoking together or whatever, and I'm like, somehow we brought up skateboarding. He's like, oh, I skate too. So I'm like, oh, let's skate. Skating coming back in it, right? Yes. So before we even got to skate, I had told him about this show. I think my first show at the Varsity in Baton Rouge. And he's like, all right, cool, man. And he told me like after the point that he didn't even intend on going at first. And he was like, man, fuck it. I'm gonna see what this music's about. Yeah. So he pulls up, gives it a chance, and he was fucking with it heavy. Like he liked the beats and everything. After that, he reached out to me and he sent me like this loop that he made on the keys. And I'm like, yo, this is cool. I remember I actually went on a family vacation to Jamaica. Like with my family. I don't know why I said that again. But anyway. That
was important.
Yeah. He sent me a that loop. And I was like, yo, this is sick. And he kind of made more shit around it. And I wrote to it. And when we came back, I met at Stevie's old crib. And it was him, Stevie, Aaron, and Paige there. And they all like kind of learned the song that he had sent me. And they made 2 more. And I'm just like, yo, I'm digging this. This sounds sick. So I basically took those recordings. I went home, wrote to it, and that it was history since then. And we played our first show at Atomic Pop Shop whenever it was off of Government.
Because now it's Mid-City Ballroom.
Yeah, exactly.
What songs were those?
Those songs were Toulouse.
Fucking right.
That was the first one.
Damn.
Yeah, that was the first one we wrote.
I love Toulouse. It has such a like... It does have an existential layer to it because you're just like, we are born to die. And it's not even like, oh, be scared of death, but I think death does represent change. And like we come in this life to change. And you're like, so what do you have to lose? You have everything to gain. Go out there and, try it. I love that song.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And like you were saying earlier, like you never realize like what shit is until later. Because like I was just writing another song, but that is a lot of people's favorite song. Yeah. Like, especially live,
And you knew Chloe Marie at the time whenever you wrote that song, or did you already have it?
Yeah, I did because you know, like I said, I had been playing a lot of shows in DR, and like it was like only a couple like more prominent bands, and Alabaster Stag was one of them, and that was Chloe's old band.
Okay.
I think maybe they still play every now and then, but because I only knew so many singers, and I was like, well, she's perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
And it does go. I mean, the chemistry is heard. I think the intention is definitely heard in the music.
Right.
I mean, it's beautiful. Her vocals are beautiful. It all flows nice.
Thank you.
So when you taught yourself how to learn or how to play instruments, did you already know how to write the music for it?
No. So I still don't know how to write music.
And I was gonna, okay.
Yeah.
What is that like then? Like if you get a melody or if you create something, then how do you hold on to it? Or like how can you recreate that?
So it's like a couple different ways. Like sometimes, like say I'm sitting here, I'm like working or something, and I get a melody. I just take out my phone and I hum it into the voice memo. And then like later on I can recreate it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like one thing I feel like I've noticed or that other people have told me is that I have a good ear.
Okay.
Like I don't know how to write music, but I know what I want to hear. So that's kind of the energy that I move forward with when I'm making a song, because I don't know what key is what key. I just know when something sounds sick, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, to me at least.
Cool.
And obviously to other people, because there's new songs on like our new album, like Location, for instance. Like that was me and Aaron that made that beat. Like I made the drums and the bass, and he played the keys on it. That bass is whatever. Like it probably isn't in key, but it's what I felt.
Yeah.
And it feels right. So that's all it is.
Damn.
And people might not think about that when they hear it, but like that shit probably ain't right. Like as far as like music theory goes. Like I'm at a point right now in music where what matters more than structure or like, okay, hook verse hook, like nah, like I just want to get that feeling. Like it can be 2 words that I say, but if it feels right, that's what matters the most.
No, and that is so real. I say this all the time. I heard it from actually another local artist. He said it in a documentary. But what's from the heart gonna reach the heart. So the intention that you do it with, it's definitely gonna like be read. And you talk about having a song with like only 2 words. That interlude you have on what is that? It's like I just paid my energy and cost, and you're just saying that over and over. But for some reason it's so hard. You're talking about paying bills, but he's spinning right now. Like all you're saying is I just paid my bills, but I don't know, I just feel like
over that Custodian beat. Shout out Custodian. Shout out Custodian. That project's really crazy.
No, we're gonna get to that, because that project, we gotta talk about that project for sure.
Yeah, I ain't comfortable with working at 6 to 4 no more on my off days. Nothing.
So what made you leave New Orleans?
To go to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
School, actually. That's all. And well, I guess I could have gone to school in New Orleans, but the reason why I picked LSU was one, because I got accepted and I applied, but also I just wanted to like get away in the most efficient way possible. Cause I mean I didn't have money to really go to like New York or some shit, but at the same time it was interesting like getting there, and it felt like I was still at home because it was a lot of people that I knew and vice versa, you know. I'm really happy that I did that, because I mean I feel like I grew up a lot, like, you know, living by myself for the first time, and meeting people out there, you know, because I met a lot of great people, a lot of people that helped me get to where I am today, like the Ninth Life. I already knew Jacob Stanley, shout out Jacob. But
a lot of your features too, like Jose, Xavier.
Exactly.
You got a feature with DQ.
Yes.
Jazz Bandito.
Right. Yeah, all those people like wouldn't have met them otherwise, and it's like it's kind of weird to think like, damn, like I know I'd still be doing music, but like how would it have turned out if I didn't go to BR? Because I don't know, it's just like it was a very snowball effect. Like from that very first show at the Barnyard, like I always tell people, like people ask me like, oh, how do you get shows? And it's like, well, I mean, aside from like having a dope product, like that's important. Like you want to make good music or art, being consistent and going out and doing the thing. Because once you're there and people see that you're doing it, they want to be around it and they want to be a part of it / incorporate you in what they have going on. And that's what happens. Like that first show, I think I played it, and then I got like 3 show offers from that. And for the next 2-3 years, I didn't book anything. Like, I just got shows.
Yeah.
And that would have never happened if I didn't go to that first initial one.
Yeah.
You know, this past half year, I started working in insurance adjustment.
Yeah.
And I haven't even created shit.
Yeah.
But I don't need to because I've done so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like I've made all these albums and projects, and I've got probably 2 or 3 projects that I have just sitting, waiting to release that I've made over the past year or whatever.
Nice.
And like, it's like, it feels like a blessing that I can just, at this point, I don't really have to do much. And everything is a learning experience too, because I'm not even saying like, oh, I'm at that point, like we got it all figured out. Not at all. Like, we learn something every day. Like, this is my first time booking a tour in this way. Like, and I'm sending those emails out. Like, I'm doing A, B, and C. So, you know, all right, this venue hasn't hit me back up yet. What do I do? I got to figure that out now. Like, I don't know.
But that's how you know you're living, because you live and you learn. So if you're learning, then you're living. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Very true.
What was your major?
I was a graphic design major.
So you started rapping before you got into school, but then you were like, I'm gonna go to school for the opportunity, but then I'm also gonna major in graphic design. And were you actually gonna like take that seriously? Like,
no.
But you knew that? Like,
I knew that. Like, I did. Like, I low-key.
That's real.
Like, in my head, from like a 17-year-old, like, I knew I wasn't gonna finish college. I didn't want to.
That's real.
But low key, like, I kind of finessed. I was like, I don't want to be around here, so I'm gonna take this LSU opportunity and get the fuck, because that's what I care about.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about finishing school. I cared about going to a new city.
Yeah.
What got me to the point of leaving was that, I don't know, like sophomore year, I was just fucking off. Like I said, I didn't care about school.
Yeah.
Like, I was there just to be around different people, do music, and I picked graphic design just because it's something I did anyway.
Right.
Like, I've been making t-shirts since 2012.
Nice.
With my first brand, Forever Dumb.
Yes. Which I also saw on your Facebook, which is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's another reason why I left, because I'm like, yo, like, all right, if I'm looking at this graphic design, like, trajectory, it's like I'm already doing what I would want to do when I finish school.
Yeah.
So what am I paying for?
Do you think being in Baton Rouge influenced your sound?
Yes. I think it definitely did, because like you were saying, like the artists that I work with, they all influenced me. Like
nice.
Even people who I met after I started what I was doing. Like I'm gonna give a couple shout outs actually, because these people are actually like they just inspire me in general.
Yeah.
Like specifically like Cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
They really inspire me, because I saw from the beginning. I want to say I was at like their first show at Club Culture.
Okay.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was y'all's first show. But I remember seeing that, and I'm like, they're doing exactly what I am.
Okay.
Me having the opportunity to be on songs with them.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. When we get on the song, I'm trying to outdo them. Like, not even in a like in a healthily competitive way. Like, no, I'm literally my best lyricist when I'm next to them.
Yeah.
So that
I hear that.
Right.
Like in your first album, you have a feature with Wakai on Godspeed.
Oh my God, he ate me on that shit.
No,
bro.
and it's like but
oh my God.
I love the rawness because y'all were eating.
Right.
Y'all were eating. Like, he knew he had to come in and spit. So
right.
he came in and spit.
He did exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
all right, I'm on my homie's track. I'm about to kill him on his own shit. Like, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
You know, I could name people all day. MCDV, shout out Dylan like a motherfucker, because he's somebody who's always supported the fuck out of me from the jump, and like he pushed me to just stay consistent, and like he told me I was the one.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He was like, bro, like you're gonna get to where you're trying to go, and like.
Now I'm speaking blessings over you.
Not only that, he's a producer, so he made some of my first beats. He brought me into that realm of like producer rapper. Like, I don't think I've ever said this before, but there's a guy named Lazy. Shout out Lazy, because I never said this shit before, but bro, you inspired the fuck out of me. My homie, shout out Swagger too. He's mixed and mastered most of my music, literally. They have this spot in Gulf Shores, and they were throwing a festival. Jazz pulled my arm and was like, shout out Jazz too, that's another artist. Jazz pulled my arm, he's like, bro, like, let's just go do this shit. And I'm like, all right. Like, and I wasn't even gonna perform, I was just gonna like help him and do a song with him, because he had the set. long story short, we drive to Gulf Shores with him and his girl at the time. And we get there, they're setting up and everything. I, as an artist, like, you know, I learned my lesson early on, like, okay, always have a jump drive with you.
Nice.
Like, because you never know what opportunities, literally. Like, I'm not about to pull up to this opportunity as and not artist. Be ready.
Literally.
Like, you know what I mean? So I had a jump drive full of tracks, just in case they were like, hey, bro, go do your shit. What ended up happening, they kind of had this space in the beginning, and they were like, bro, like, if you want, you can go rap, like, first. Like, I was like, first or second. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go get my like 15 minutes in. So I ran that shit. Nice. Couple artists went after me, maybe 3-4 artists. And then the cops came and shut that shit down. Yeah. The cops shut the show down. So Jazz didn't even get to perform aside from with me, ironically enough. Obviously, we're all bummed. And everybody that was an artist and everything, they kind of went upstairs. And we were freestyling. And they had this guy who had played earlier. He had this guitar, right? And he was just playing the guitar, and then Lazy started rapping, right? Mm-hmm. So then it started this cipher. And what was so significant about this cipher, Lazy, he wasn't just rapping, but he was also like singing and like doing vocals and like, you know, he was like singing, rapping. Yeah. And that shit sounded good, and like, I don't think I even realized at the time, but it inspired the fuck out of me. And like, whenever I got back and was like, starting to write my new shit, I'm like, bro, like, I want to like sing some of this shit, because like it almost tells a story better that way. So that shit really influenced Champion of Less whenever I got more comfortable with just trying to sing or singing in general. Yeah. Like a Wall, things like that probably would not exist without Lazy, like in that instance. Yeah.
Well, let's get into your albums, because that was something when I first was like just listening to your music to, I guess, figure out, you know, how do I want this conversation to go? What do I want to know from you? Your project with Custodian was your most experimental. Like you.
Which one? Wash Your Damn Hands.
Wash Your Damn Hands. 2020, 2019, 2020.
Big COVID energy.
Definitely big COVID. And I remember that because I think when you dropped it, I don't even know if I was like really following you then, but I think somebody I followed posted like the cover art. All I saw was Wash Your Damn Hands. And of course it's like, I'm sitting at home because we're all locked down, and I'm just like, so it just instantly stuck with me then. Seed planted right then. Do get into like, I guess, your headspace and what it felt like making these albums, especially that one with Custodian, because I looked into Custodian and they kind of have some clout, but I don't know who that is. So like, how did you meet them? And yeah.
So how I met Custodian, I'm not sure if he wants me to disclose his name. I'm just gonna say Custodian. Okay. Cause Custodian.
Top secret.
But top secret shit, man. But the reason I met Custodian was because this guy Jacob, who's actually in our group FD, with the clothes.
Okay, forever
done. He's a year older than me, so he was already at LSU when I went. So my freshman year, we just kind of joked. Like, I would start going over there and like practicing guitar with him, because he's a guitar god. Like, if you've ever heard Hydroplane, he's a guitarist in Hydroplane.
Okay.
Jacob Stanley. Our sophomore year, we moved in together in WCA. So we just had rooms across from each other, and he had Studio One, PreSonus. And that's where I recorded the Rhythm mixtape on SoundCloud. Okay. We did that whole tape in his bedroom. And I think after we finished that tape, he was like, hey, bro, like, I got this friend I want you to meet, Custodian. So he just comes over with Custodian, right? He's like, hey, well, bro, like, I got some beats, like, you know. So he shows me the beats. And, you know, I'm in a headspace where, like, I'm already to the point where, like, I'm taking music more serious. So, like, you know, I'm ready to like buy these beats from them if they're cold or whatever, right? So anyway, plays the beats, bro. Everything he plays is exactly where I'm trying to go. Yeah. Like, and like, obviously it wasn't intentional. Like, we just happened to meet. Yeah. Like, and Jacob knew that. Like, he knew, I guess, that we should meet. Yeah. So this is in like 2014, 2015. But anyway, so he shows me these beats and I'm like, yo, like, all of these except for like one of them, like, I already got something for. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, like, let me buy these. He's like, bro, you can have them. And I'm like fucking falling, like, you know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm like, Thank you, bro. For real. I'm like, bro, like, I won't let you down. Like, I ended up making a song with him. Long story short, forming a relationship with and at this point, he plays a huge role in my sound in general. Because really, my sound is his sound. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, straight up. Like, even the songs that we play live with the band, we're, like, covering his beats. He just plays a huge part in, like, all the music I make, pretty much. Because he's on a lot of, pretty much most of the last albums. But you were asking me about the albums in general.
I mean, we could start with that album with Custodian, especially because it stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Even like some of the beats themselves, I think you even sang a bit on that one because I think that's the one with your song about paying your bills.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like singing that.
Yeah.
And then like the way that it's produced, it's like, it's more to it.
Yeah.
So get into, I guess, just making that project and your headspace and really what motivated you to want to experiment.
So what happened was in 2019, this is honestly probably the most influential album for me. And I don't know if you've heard it, actually. So what would later become like the collective Yellow House, which is me, Julian, Paige, and Custodian.
Okay.
We all like just kind of wanted to make music together in general, right? So from that feeling, we were like, yo, I don't remember who it was, but they were like, hey, what if we all just took off a week of work and we just make music all week? Damn. Life changing.
Yeah.
So our old house, it was this yellow house on East State Street. And we lived on the top floor. And Paige, at the beginning of that year, he moved downstairs. So we pretty much ran the whole crib. So it was very sick.
Yeah.
And we also invited hella people from the community that we fucked with, like Cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
We got Maddie Swan in there.
Maddie Swan, yeah.
Yeah, we got, I don't want to leave anybody out, but, you know, we got a bunch of people to come and be on the album. But the way that this album went and the process to make it was unlike any other project. For Breathe, I found the beats, I wrote to them, that's it. But the way that I wrote to the songs, I'm someone who cares a lot about my lyrics, right?
Yeah.
So some of these songs, it took me 3 months to write. That process is different from what I'm about to get into because for the Joe's tape, which is what this project ended up being, I tried a new process. Like how I was saying I cared so much about lyrics and I would take so long. What happened in Joe's tape was that both Paige and I just disclosed his name.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, they both just had packs of like beats ready, and we also made some. But the packs that they had ready, they would load up the beat in FL.
Okay.
I would just take the headphones, hit some weed, fucking just rap and freestyle.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not the best at freestyling, and I definitely don't record my freestyles, but that's what Joe's tape was. Freestyling, getting that flow and the idea out. And then I would go back and clean everything up. And I would just let it be what it was from that first initial feeling.
Yeah.
You see?
Yes.
And now that's how I write music.
So is that what you did on Wash Your Damn Hands?
Yes. So it was literally the exact same thing. And it was almost like Joe's tape was the prototype for Wash Your Damn Hands. Because we did the same thing.
Yeah.
I wrote that whole EP in 24 hours or so. I knew what I was capable of. Before Joe's tape, I didn't know I could just sit and write a song.
Yeah.
Like sit here, write the song and get up.
Yeah.
Like I thought I had to like be so intentional, but no, like I've gotten to a place where I just let the shit come out. And if it doesn't come out, then it doesn't need to be a song. Like, you see?
No, I do see. I think what you're doing is like you're seeing intention and inspiration as something that's synonymous. I just recently heard this from Pharrell, but he basically says like inspiration it doesn't just come to you at the right time, because if that was the case, you wouldn't be prepared if it just came to you like, you know, out the blue. It's really a muscle. And so when you train it, after a while, you could just tap into that inspiration.
Right.
And so I think that's all you did.
No, that shaped like everything I do now.
Okay,
like the
so
Joe's
then,
tape session.
When did La Palco, if I'm saying that right, when did La Palco come in?
So La Palco came in right before Champion of Less, because it was actually gonna be on Champion of Less, but I just thought it didn't fit as much. Cause I'm big on like curation. Like I actually like that a lot. When I finish everything and I'm like, okay, this is going on there and this is the order. Like I love like ordering like the songs, because it's really important to me.
Even on Breathe, I can hear the intention. Is that when you started? Well, you started doing shrooms before Breathe, right?
Yeah. So.
Because it sounds so spacey.
Yes.
Breathe sounds so psychedelic.
Yes.
I mean, yes, Wash Your Damn Hands is still experimental, but Breathe, especially as a debut piece, it's very psychedelic and it's very abstract and progressive, even in terms of like rap and hip hop. So I can hear the influence.
I actually like, I don't know, I'm not trying to be head ass, but like, you know, I like to smoke.
Yeah.
Like, but for reasons I won't disclose,
Yeah.
I wasn't smoking at the time. And I was like, well, let me try shrooms. So that's when I tried shrooms. But to answer your question, I think it did influence how it sounds. But I think anyway, that's the sound I'm always going for.
Yeah.
A very psychedelic, like, what the fuck is this, like, type of vibe. Because, like, that's, like, as an artist, that is what means almost the most to me. It's just creating something that no one's heard before. Like, I've never been someone who wants to, like, go rap on 21 Savage's beat.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how people will, like, rap on the same beat?
Yeah.
Like, that's something I've never wanted to do. Because it's like, the song's already there. Like, I want to create something. Like, even if it, like, doesn't sound right to you. Like, I don't want it to sound right.
Yeah.
I want it to sound like, I want you to be like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, make a fucking face to that shit. Like, you know?
Because you're trying to listen to all the pieces and the sounds and the production. Like, that's just,
Right.
Okay, compare the headspaces that you were in when you made Champions of Less and then Foundation.
So Champion of Less, really, like, the meaning of it, the title and everything.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason that ended up being the theme for it is because I got into that headspace after Joe's tape. And I'm like, I'm not worried about doing like hook, verse.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a long song. In fact, I'm noticing myself that I like more short, sweet songs, you know? And a lot of time when I'm creating and like writing lyrics, it's like, I have this thing I want to say, and I'll say it in a verse.
Yeah.
And like, according to the industry, I'll like want to write another verse because I feel like, there's not enough content here. But in reality, it's everything I wanted to say, so why should I say anything else?
Exactly.
So I got to a space where I'm just like, no, let that shit be. For Foundation, believe it or not, like, I would say there wasn't too much headspace or too much intention at all, actually. Like, what Foundation was, it was kind of just songs.
Much conscious intention.
Right, exactly. It was really just songs and demos that we had collected over like 2 years or so, and we picked the best ones and put them into a project.
Cool.
And ordered them, like, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of those songs I made whenever I moved back here, and before I moved into this spot, I was staying with my people. So like 3 or 4 of those songs I recorded in my bedroom, like my childhood bedroom.
Nice. Which ones?
Picture Me.
And I love it because it does have that, like, it has a dreamer feel to it. It has like a picture me in the future, picture me when I'm older, when I'm grown up, and like even the video that matches it, I love, because right at the 40-second mark, you step into that new world, and you're like in this beautiful like innocence and youthfulness, and you're like dancing with the flowers in your head. I love it. I think you trust your process even more than you know. Like you're very self-sufficient. I mean, like
in what way, man?
The way that you kind of let yourself go in the process and like just, okay, things may change, but I can just keep going with it. You have that common theme, even just in talking about like how you've made some of these songs. Like you were at home. I know some folks that hate going back home, and it kind of like stunts their process. They're like, I'm back at home, so I can't do anything. But you're like, I'm back at home. I'm about to make these songs while I'm here. And so I like that.
And that was a big moment for me too, because
it's inspirational. Yeah.
When I moved back, like I was actually like, okay, I'm gonna do music full time. So I started doing production and shit since COVID. Like on Breathe, like back in 2018, I made the intro and like the outro. But that was the only production I had ever like taken seriously. And I just kind of put it to the side for a while and brought it back. And like, I'm happy I brought it back when I did, because like I have people hitting me up for beats. Like that's incredible. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Good shit.
Thank you.
Okay, in your music, you talk about things like, and you use like very sense-centered language or like sense-oriented language, like you can smell success when it's near, or like I can smell your aura, or like you can taste success when it's like where did that come from, or what? Yeah, because what is that? Because I noticed it from jump.
You know what it is, honestly? It's not to sound head ass, but it's me being different.
Okay.
Like, because what'll happen a lot of times is I'll write something and I'm like, somebody's probably said this already. So I just change one or two words, but like very consciously too. Like not just picking random words to swap them out with. Me saying, oh, I can see your aura, and me saying I can smell it, like it's much more sensory to say that. So it's like, I guess I'll just sometimes write some shit and go back and pimp it out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I like it. Because it definitely sticks in the head. It stands out. So like, you know, a listener like me would hold on to it. But I find it interesting because you have like your brand, you know, the Breathe Project.
Just got that LLC, baby. We legal.
Hey.
I had to do that.
You did. Coloring book. Like your delivery and even just like how you spit out some of your lines, you have a very like breathy disposition. Was that intentional with like your brand being like, you know, the Breathe Project, but then also like just how you rap, like it is very breathy, you know? So.
Honestly, no, it wasn't intentional. It actually wasn't intentional at all. And I was actually listening to one of my songs a couple days ago, and I think it was on Champion of Less. It was like, oh, take a breath. And then unintentionally, I went like, and then said the next line. And I was like, oh, that's cold. Yeah. Like, and so it's like unintentional a lot of the times. To answer your question.
Do you do breath work?
No, I don't. But like, I write everything to where I can perform it.
Nice.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I never write some shit like Twista, acting like I'm about to go and rap that live. Right. Like, you know?
Or like punch in when you know you don't
exactly.
have time.
I don't punch in.
Right.
I never punch in.
Oh, I could tell.
Like, you know, it's always a full take.
Nice.
You know?
Okay.
Because it goes in with the brand, like the smooth cat.
Yeah.
Like, I want everything. That was another, like, main, like, requirement of, like, pretty much all of my songs. Like, it has to be smooth. Like, me being someone who records a lot, I can tell exactly when people punch in.
Yes.
And I don't want you to be able to tell that. I want it to be a smooth thing. And also, like, people's bars, like, I know it's, like, very trendy now to, like, kind of rap offbeat, but people be offbeat in a way that it doesn't sound intentional. Like, you know, and that irks me. Like, that's not getting played in my whip. So I want my shit to be played in the whip.
Yeah.
So it's got to be...
No, it's definitely smooth.
Smooth, leveled out, balanced, you know?
When you create, do you ever think about like the people that come after you, or like who's coming after you, like the generation, or like anybody who might be younger than you and listening? Do you ever consider that?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Like, even like some of my earlier songs that I don't remember anymore, like from Rhythm, because I don't listen to them really. But like, I remember like writing those and being like, oh, like this is for the youth. Like, this is for literally who's coming up, because a lot of these kids' role models right now just are on some fuck shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and there's not many people that they can look to that, whether they be successful or not, just people that they can look to be like, oh, that's like, he doesn't have guns and he's cool. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I try not to be smoking in my music videos all the time. Yeah. Or like on Instagram, like, there's people who follow me that are like 8 years old, and if they think I'm cool, they're gonna think they should smoke. And they can do that if they want to, but I don't want them to think that they need to do that to be cool. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yes. So I do actually like keep a lot of intention in that. And honestly, lately, like, performing live has been very inspiring to me, because being underground, it feels like sometimes no one's listening. Yeah. But when I go to these shows and I see these kids or people younger than me that I've never seen before, and they know the lyrics, it's like, yo, like, I do need to watch what I say, because like this shit is impacting people. Yeah. What is something that you would want to let the people who are coming up behind you, or even specifically younger cats that are like looking to do something like what you're doing, like what is something that you would want them to know? just do that shit. Honestly. Like, I constantly see people, they're like, oh man, I wish I could rap. Fucking rap.
Yeah.
Like, do that shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm not perfect, and when I started out doing this, I was scared as fuck. Now I'm fearless in this shit. Yes. Like, honestly. Yes. I can honestly say that. That's like, cool. I get on stage and I feel more comfortable sitting here. Yeah. Like, than sitting here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm supposed to be. And I made that path for myself, you know? That's beautiful. And you could do it too. Definitely. You know? I do. So I think that's, like, the main thing. Just, like, you have an idea, do that shit right now. Like, don't even wait. Like, for real. Because, like, if you wait, somebody else could do it. Or something else, like, you know? And also, anything's possible. Like, for instance, I can be a rocket scientist if I want to. Yes. I just got to do it. I just got to go study. Yeah. Period. That's it. I don't know. The universe, like...
You are the universe, and everything you do is a sign.
Is that one of my lines? Yeah. Yo. Yeah. That's good.
I love that bar.
You're good.
It's a fucking bar.
Yo, no, I like that line a lot. If I didn't trust myself, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Yeah. Like.
Same here. Literally, if I didn't trust myself, I would not be here with you.
Right. So really, just do that shit. Like, if you got some shit you want to do, like, you're the only person holding yourself back. Literally. And I have, like, family members, friends, people who think that I can't do certain shit. And I love that shit. Yeah. That's what fucking burns in my chest. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. Like, I'm going to show you like, what I can do. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even going to tell you I'm about to do that, but you'll see.
Never sell yourself short. Never chase your mama's dreams. Bars, bro. You're a poet. You're a poet. Thank you again. Truly. I'm just truly appreciative. This was awesome. And yeah, that's a wrap. Okay. Okay, well, you can take off your mask.
Everybody won't wait my time. Cool. Everybody won't wait.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
Time.
I agree.
Everybody won't wait. It ain't no future like the present, queen. It ain't no life you catch me living that ain't fitting to my seconds, queen. So many L's, but that's a lesson, king. I can't be stuck in situations where I feel I need rescuing. I hold my weight, that's on my auntie's scale. She pray the evil out my week for every week. I can't explain too well. That's who I really need to keep around. Too many ask for all my energy and drain me till I'm weak around. I'm running up Vimo, got my tires patched up. I'm starting through no St. Bernard's. Toe up, the office so low, them shows I gotta pass up. They know what I know, they know we gifted, we shine.